again to BryzGarage. This is part 2 to our video on our AC repair. We are going to be changing the condenser inside this 2003 Hyundai Sonata. This is a 2.7 liter V6. If you've not seen part 1 to this video, I would highly recommend you see that before starting this one. So we're going to start taking apart this condenser. So first thing we're going to do is remove these mounting brackets. One here, one here. Those are 14 millimeter. So those two. Okay, next we're going to remove this high line that's right here. It just has one nut on it. It's a 12 millimeter. So we'll just remove that. Okay, now that we got that removed, I just wanted to show you a couple things here. So we're just going to lift it up, pull it over to the side, just right there. Be gentle with that. You're going to see these little green gaskets right there. Those are going to have to be replaced. So if you're doing this and you're taking this off, no matter what, replace those. Get those replaced. You can buy a whole package for your whole AC system that's around $7 or $5 or something like that. But anyway, that's going to have to be replaced. Another thing I do, just for so you can remember when you're putting it all back together, try to leave, like, so I just screwed back on the nut there. That way you won't lose it, and you can put it back easy. Another thing you'll want to do is plug this system in there. I'm replacing mine, so I don't really care, but you're going to want to plug it up, and yeah, just, you don't want any debris falling into it. So that's that. Next we're going to move on to these two brackets here. There's one on each side. I think that's let's see, yeah, it's a 12-2. So we're going to remove those two. Alright, so each one of those bolts had a little washer there, so try not to lose those. Another thing I do, again, this is personal preference, but I'll put like that under there because that's the way it was. That right there. Sorry, you probably couldn't even see that, huh? Put the bolts there. Anyway, so those are under there. That's the way I took it out of the car. Passenger side, driver side. So I'll show you what's next. Alright, so next there's a couple bolts. One down there, one right there. Let's see. These are a 10 millimeter. So right there and there. So those two bolts. That's what we're going to remove next. Alright, so I removed those bolts very easily because they both busted off. They sheared right off. Oops. There goes a piece. A little plastic piece here. So, anyway, that's how it goes. Sorry, I got it backwards. That's how it goes. Anyway, so that fell off. Both those sheared off. But that's okay. We'll just replace them. Okay, so we now have, what is there? 7 bolts we have to remove. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then there's one all the way down here. You come right there. And those are all 12s, and that's going to allow us to remove this bracket here. So that's what we want to do, because once we get this bracket loosened, there's 2 bolts, one over here that we need to access, and they're kind of a pain in the ass to get to. So this should help us be able to allow this to play so we can get to those bolts. Okay, so now we got all the bolts out. So now there's these little plastic tabs, so be careful with those. And I did lie. So these were 12s. This one's a 10. Same on the other side. And the one down there, that one was a 12. So there's 7 bolts. 5 of them are 12s, and this one and the other one are 10s. So now we should be able to loosen this up a little, and that should give us a little playroom to access that bolt back there that's still attached to the radiator, and then that one that's attached to the radiator just behind the dryer there. Alright, so I went ahead and I lifted this up a little bit. The next thing we're going to undo is this little harness here that hooks onto the right there to the dryer. It should have 2 push pins or compressors on it that you just press and lift up. So we're gonna do that next. With this thing, I didn't end up pulling off the harness. I just slowly unscrewed this without pulling the cables off. I could not get mine separated to save my life. So if you can get your dryer off without like unplugged, from what I can see, it's just that. Push that, and I'm going to try still to unplug it. But this needs to be transferred onto your new dryer anyway, right there. Okay, so here's the next bolt we have to get to. This one's a pain in the ass. There's 2 bolts that are on both sides that hold the radiator together with your condenser. They're not easy to get to. This one you have to get under the car to get to. We're going to get that one first, and then I'll show you the next one. But again, these are not easy. They're both 10mm bolts, but we're going to go under the car now. Now we have another splash shield down here at the bottom. So looking from the front of the car, just this little piece. It's right here, right in the front. There's 3 bolts? 1, 2, 3. And then there should be a bracket down here that holds on the radiator slash condenser. So we'll remove these bolts. I believe they are a 10 as well. Alright, so all I did was remove this bolt, and then just pushed it aside. I kept that 3rd bolt on there, so it's just push out of the way. And then I put the bolts back in their place. Again, just so I don't lose or confuse the bolts with other ones. So that's that. I'll show you the next step. Okay, now that we have our splash shield removed, it's right up in here. So this is on the other side of where I was showing you. It's right way back up in here. I don't know if I can get a hand, but it's right up there. Again, it's a 10mm socket. It's hard to get a tool in here to get it, but we're going to try socket first, and then we'll try a wrench if needed, or my air wrench. We'll try that, but anyway, gotta loosen up that next. Okay, so I've tried different ways to access that bolt. I've used all kinds of tools, flex heads, and I just can't get to it because of this bad boy. Under there, it's just too big, too awkward to gain access to that bolt because of this. So that's from underneath. So what I did is I removed my battery. I removed this little clip here It sits right there. That holds your battery. Then there's 3 bolts that hold on to this battery tray. One right there, one right here. Sorry, now you can see better, huh? 1 bolt right there, 1 bolt right there, another bolt, and it's your 1 different bolt. It's like that with a washer. That was right there. Now I'm going to take some needle nose pliers and unhook this battery cable here, and then this wire harness that's hooked to the tray. So we're going to pull out that tray, and then we're going to see if there's a bolt, which I'm sure there is, that holds that, and we should be able to remove that and gain access. So I'm going to use my needle nose, pull out these, and I'll show you what's next after I take off this tray. Okay, so I just pulled out my battery tray. Here's the tray. There was another clip right there, so it sat in the middle of the tray. And so far I see 1 bolt. It looks like maybe a 10. It's right here, just underneath the battery tray. I'm sure there's another one, but that's all I see for right now. So maybe there's one underneath, but I'm not feeling one. So we'll remove that one and see what happens. Okay, so just as we thought, that was not the only bolt. Here's the bolt right there. But once you remove that one, you might have to pull off this cap. There's another bolt right there, and we can gain access to it from the front right there. That wire harness is a little bit in the way, but so we should be able to get to it right there. So we'll undo that bolt, and then we should have it all free and clear to remove the bolt that's right there. This right here, this is Plan C, and I did not have this available when I first was filming this, when I first was doing the teardown of my condenser. So this is after installation, after I got the condenser going and my system going and all that good stuff. But before I upload this onto YouTube, I wanted to show you this. So I can actually access this bolt even without these brackets right here being loose. I can access this bolt. It's kind of tight a little bit, but I can reach around and grab that bolt from just having this little pivot head here and ratcheting wrench, and then you could just get that off. I kept trying to get to use my little stubby ratcheting wrenches, but they were too small. I couldn't get enough leverage on it to break the bolt away. So anyway, this is what I would suggest you use. I wish I had it, damn it, but I had my set borrowed out to someone and I got it back after the fact, but that's okay. Live and learn, I guess. So here you go, Plan C. It's probably the better choice. Alright, so now we got that bolt off, and that was like no fun. Okay, so this next bolt on this passenger side is down here kind of by your compressor right here. It's directly across from that. Anyway, that's holding on your radiator to your condenser. It's holding on that. Also, what I did is, so you have this little power steering fluid here. You can just grab this white deal here and lift it straight up. It has no bolts or anything to it, no nuts. Just pull it up, move it to the side. So I got the bolt started. What I did is I used, so it's a 10mm socket just like your other one. but I use this. I take it if you have a compressor. Hopefully you have one of these. If you don't, go pick it up at Harbor Freight. I want to say they're, I don't know, not more than 20 bucks. I'm not sure, but they're handy. I'm working on cars anyway. So that's that bolt. This is loose enough. So now I'm going to pull this out. Just FYI, when moving this, when taking off this bracket, there is a wire harness underneath that's clamped into the framework, so you'll have to take your needle nose and squish it and pull that out. So now we're going to lift this up and remove that. And as you can see down there, it's real dirty behind my radiator, so it'll be a good time to clean all that out. So I'm going to do that both. I'm going to take this out and clean off my radiator. Try to go downward so I don't push it into the radiator. There we go. We got us a beautiful radiator. Very, very beautiful indeed. Oh yeah. So anyway, washed all that out. Hopefully dry. Show you some of the blackness that came out of there. Is gross. Caca. Whole bunch of caca. Uh-oh. I just got my daughter's drawing of whatever that is wet. She's going to be a little mad, but I'll have to help her draw another one. There's another one. I think there's one actually under the car that I probably just totally got rid of on accident. But anyway, now we got a beautiful radiator. So I would suggest do that while you got your condenser out. Because it's not like you take your condenser out every day, if you know what I mean. So back to that. We're just transferring stuff. So we'll just continue to do that. There are these little screws here that we need to take out, and these just unscrew. They're kind of tight. Might need a little bit of lube to throw down in there, but yeah, you just might need a pair of pliers just to start it, but just kind of do it where that blank space is and loosen them up a little and then unscrew them. But anyway, we'll try for that onto our new bad boy. So that's where we're at. Okay, so here we have it out now. We have our new one and our old one. So let me first show you this new one. You know, it comes with bags wrapped around. I wanted to show you this. This is, if you've never messed with a condenser, these things are very, very, very touchy. So I want to show you. We'll take a clean spot where nothing's bent. Watch how easy it is to bend. I mean, I just barely press that. And that's all there is to it, and it can bend. So you've got to be very careful, you know, with this new one. I'm trying not to make any dents whatsoever. And it's kind of tough when you're trying to install this stuff. But so on our old one, we had these little brackets right there. These are going to have to be transferred. The new ones don't have that. So we're going to have to pull those off. I, of course, have a new dryer I'm going to throw in. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do, is pull off all these little brackets and replace and put on my new one. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so to transfer these, you just take a screwdriver, pry them off. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to take just going to take some of these and just clamp them. Whoops. Maybe we'll have to clamp it right before. Anyway, we're just going to clamp it, slide it on, and put those all on. The other thing that I noticed this one, our old one, has is these strips. I'm going to try to peel these off, and I have some adhesive. And maybe it'd just be worth it to put brand new ones on. So, yeah, anyway, we're gonna try to transfer these. If that doesn't work, we'll put new ones on. Okay, so now I've transferred all the components, all the little brackets. So now I'm gonna try to save this stuff. I'm just gonna take a razor, run it along the edge, and then I have some waterproof double-sided foam tape stuff. I'm going to run it on the new one and then put that stuff on there. I'm just too lazy to go get it right now after fighting with one of those bolts. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. So first thing, we're going to pull this bracket away, slip it down in between, and try to put that bolt on back here and that bolt on back there. We'll try to do that first. Okay, upon reinstallation, make sure that you tighten your condenser on both sides evenly. So do a little here, do a little there, you know what I mean? Just kind of go back and forth. Don't tighten one side or the other all the way and then go back to the other side. Because what you'll notice, and it's too hard to see with this bracket back on, but it will make it so it's not level. Like you'll have it really close to your radiator over here, and then you'll see a large gap get larger as it gets over to this side, or vice versa, whatever. So make sure that you tighten them as evenly as possible. So like I said, do a little here, then to that side, then back and forth until it gets even. So once I did it more evenly, tightened them more evenly, it had the proper gap spacing. Alright, well, starting to rain on me, so we gotta work a little faster, I guess. So I got both the bolts, one's down there, tightened. This one, I was able to use my air wrench and go down from the top until I got there. Pretty easy access. This one, I gotta hand it to Hyundai. If their intention was to never change out a condenser, they did a hell of a job, because that bolt down there is a pain in the ass to get to. This again is after the fact, after I've put it all together, got my system all functioning, working, but just wanted to go over this on reinstallation of your condenser. If you did take out your battery tray, your reservoir here, you're not going to have any issue getting to that bolt down there. So that's one method when tightening your condenser to your radiator. The other option again was to take a pivoting ratchet wrench and just go around here. If you didn't take out your battery, you can just simply tighten it through there, but it's easier if you have these brackets off. That way you can slightly move your radiator and condenser. You can just kind of push it out of the way, or just move it enough so you can get your hand back there. But anyway, just wanted to show you that when you're on your reinstall. Okay, so we now have our condenser in. So next we're going to, these bolts, I wanted to say, sometimes with this aluminum you have to finagle it. It's not just right. It has issues to where you may have to bend it slightly. I mean, just do it, just barely, because it doesn't take much, you know. Think of a soda can now. Easy, you can crush it. Aluminum's just light. I mean, common knowledge, whatever, but just be real careful. So these brackets, you have to kind of line up the hole a little bit if it doesn't fit right or whatever. So, you know, I had to push it this way on this one, this way on this one to get it to line up. So now that we got those lined up, last piece is this bracket. So we're going to put this bracket on. I did close the splash shield underneath. Those were 10mm bolts. So all underneath is done. So again, all I have to do is put this on. Don't forget to hook your wire harness to push that back onto your framework. Then we'll put our mounting brackets next. But we're gonna put this on. This again has was it 6 bolts and then maybe 7? I can't remember. 1, 2, 3, 7. Has 7 bolts. These were the bigger bolts, the 12s, and then there was 2 10s. Where's the 10s? Anyway, there's 2 10s that hook near the light. So those are the smaller ones. So, and then don't forget your 1 bolt down there. So we're gonna put that back to work and button this one up. Okay, so just a couple things left. Just remember these mounting brackets here. You're just gonna take them, put them on, line them up to that hole, the little piece there, and then just put your bolts on. These were I think they're 12 millimeters. So yeah, anyway, you'll put those on both sides. That will get it nice and even. And then your splash shield, put that on there. It just goes in like that. Put your bolts in there. Remember, I think those are 10 millimeters. I sheared mine off. Both of them broke. I barely even touched them and they busted. Didn't even get a full turn. So that's it. And then hook back on your AC lines to your condenser. Remember, change out your little gaskets, lube them up real good. And again, you might have to finagle this bracket just a hair, or actually the tube itself, just to line those up. But the way it works is this one will hook to your dryer, like on this side, and then this one will cover your condenser and slide down through that screw there. I'm not going to do that yet because I'm going to replace my lines, but that's all that's left. And so anyway, this is how you put in a condenser on a 2003 Hyundai Sonata. So I hope this works for you. Again, this is part 2 of a few videos. I don't know how many are going to be in its entirety, but you know, keep watching. If you're going to need to, now that you replaced your condenser and most likely you did your dryer, you're going to have to vacuum out your system and then recharge it. So stay tuned for the rest of them. But right now I'm going to go get some bolts for this thing and start working on the other parts of the video. Thanks. Hope you had a good time. Keep watching BryzGarage. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and take care, and we'll see you later.